I love you. It'll pass.
It will pass, and it did. In this unforgettable haunting scene, Fleabag makes a confession that she hasn't shared with her closest intimate friends, the audience, us. Throughout the entire 2 seasons, we witness Fleabag traverse clumsily through her life and notice in the background, at its very core, the fatal touch of time mar her life. When we see her drunk and dazed and grief-stricken in a taxi recounting the tragic death of her best friend, to the funeral scene and the death of her mother, all these tragedies and innumerable more convinced Fleabag, rightfully so, of the ephemeral transience of the world. Convinced her of the simple fact that everything she ever loves will die, literally or metaphorically. That essentially to love is to allow yourself to break, shatter, end. The symbolic, glaring significance of the setting of this scene. We are here on the bus stop of life. We sit on the bench, look across and recognize each other, connect, envelop, love and metamorph. All the while knowing deeply that we have some place to be, a bus that will take us away, and all that we will be left with is memories, regret, longing, desperation, and a personhood indelibly marred with the handprint of another soul. This, ladies and gentlemen, right here is what life is, this bus stop. The only logical reaction to the mind is to shut your doors to the world, which is what Fleabag does. She has no friends and she doesn't want any, so it makes sense the sacredness of this moment, this confession. In this particular moment, the full pitch of the orchestra of the human experience, with its conundrum of hopelessness and wonder and fear and tenderness, are revealed in her eyes, and she confesses the impossibility, the atrocity, the blasphemy of what she has done, admitting that in her human stupidity, despite knowing better, she has once more attached her heart to this floating world. That she had loved once more in a world of sunsets and autumns and wilting roses, in a world that rejoices, celebrates, beautifies endings. There is a sacredness to this confession. You can only whisper something as precious and delicate as this in the dark, that you did the impossible, the unreasonable. You opened your doors out into the world. You laid bare your heart for the world to mutilate and ravage once more. This means so much more, considering the fact that Fleabag, tormented by time, shuts herself off from the world. Because yeah, it will pass. Everything will pass. You enter this world with numbered breaths, and the friends that you make and your loved ones too have numbered breaths. Everything comes with an expiration date. To what can we really attach our hearts to in this autumnal world? We're alone, unbelievably, irrevocably, ineradicably alone in this world, and nothing can cure this loneliness. I might express my sorrow, I might cry and laugh and rage and roar and write a poem, but at the end of the day, I am alone in the voyage of myself. Expressed eloquently in the poem, what is more reliable amongst fickle things? The swift rapids, a flowing river, or this human world? So then why did Fleabag commit this crime? Why did she allow herself to love once more? And why should you? And why should anybody really? In the TV show, like I mentioned earlier, Fleabag shuts herself off from the world, makes no friends, and is scared to commit wholeheartedly to another person. But here's the thing, this doesn't stop her from hurting, from the gut-wrenching yearning that is a symptom of secluding yourself off from the world. And I think Fleabag, with time, begins to understand this. The ironic quality of the fact that yes, everything passes, but one thing remains for certain and doesn't pass. You will get hurt, no matter what. In fact, in the very pursuit of trying desperately not to get hurt, you will get hurt. That is the unflinching reality of this world, and it is not a bad thing really. The beauty and symmetry of this lies in the fact that you got hurt because something mattered to you. Something made you feel special and loved and welcomed for a little while, and that hurt is just proof of that. A symptom of having sucked on the pulp of life to the fullest capacity. This all articulates the array of emotions in the priest's eyes when he says, "It will pass." The storms of denial, relinquished submission, and finally surrender at this simple, impossible fact. It will pass. And Fleabag, nodding, having known this so intimately.
See you Sunday? I'm joking, you're never ever allowed in my church again. I love you too.